once somebody writes it as a paper and it becomes showed being appallingly easy. Like some of them, make the screen blink or otherwise, have RF to basically they can pick up the RF from the screen. So who knows? There's like several versions of them. But yeah, I saw some articles on that a while ago. But I was just saying that, like, even as much as like some people will espouse air gaps to be, 100%, there's like some that will infect people's computers and make infected zip documents or otherwise like that onto a network to where someone will carry it over haplessly to get data in and off the air gap systems and infect them haplessly.
Always scan.
That's true. And I was just saying there's been some, kits that use like steganography and other stuff that once it gets onto the air gap system, there was some weird ones that could turn like the hard drive into like a radio transmitter. So if you were in a certain amount of range of it, you could even, it would basically, tap out the data like Morse code or, you could read them at your leisure. They're weird, they're interesting, but to like the cybersecurity manager on like a base that has air-gapped crap, man, they're probably paranoid about it.
Mm-hmm.
They use like, signal warfare and electromagnetic emanations to do shit and or light pulses or, radio wave pulses or sound even. Covert channels creates capability to transfer information using channels not intended to do so, i.e. making the monitor flicker in a way that it wasn't designed to, that doesn't look, cause suspicion to the user, but, the user can't even see it, but hey, if a spy is recording the screen with a cell phone, they can get all the data that they want. But, that's why most of the places take your cell phone and lock them up.
Mm-hmm.
Covert storage channels, hiding information through modification of a stored object, certain files, having a certain meaning. Like you can take Windows NT, you can have streams on NT files. The original file looks the same size, but they can hide malware on the end of it, and it basically says the same file. Like every time someone clicks on Notepad, even though Notepad runs independently, it'll cause the stupid malware to run. So people have used that for like hiding stuff. Steganography, you may not be able to see the difference. Most people can't, especially if it's a high res image, or hear the difference. It's like, here's the original image, and because the sand has a lot of noise in it already, it's basically hidden the 4 pages of Charles Dickens's. Digital watermarks, they can be used similar to steganography, but they're usually like to fingerprint files, like, so you don't like steal images and such. Of course, malware, malicious viruses, macro, boot sector, stealth. Rootkits and logic bombs. Basically, WannaCry was a nice logic bomb as well as supposed ransomware. It infected people's backups like 6 months. It wormed their way into their backups to make it harder to restore data, to make it exfiltrate. So I had to give a crash course on NT Lite and how you can patch up your Windows server files on a crash course to basically patch out the ransomware from detonating, as well as do threat hunting on that particular worm while I was in the SOC. So I thought my SOC was having a sunshiny day and it was time to go home on a perfect Friday. 5 minutes I get back from the bathroom and all hell was breaking loose. So if you're going into the SOC area, that can be your weekend. It's interesting all the time. You're pretty much the tip of the spear of the cyber arms race at that point. Like the NSA has done this, Russians done some of this, so it's really important to like source your stuff from reputable vendors. Like my friend goes, I love eBay. I don't know. I love the used good deal. I don't know. It's basically you can wipe this drive out, you can wipe the platter out, you can wipe the SD RAM out and format it, but because they've gotten it down into the ship code here, it'll just keep infecting.
Yeah. At that point, you swap out your disks.
Uh, what's really sickening, like this one here has just been a research project, but like the NSA's had it, and I'm just saying it makes it really hard to detect. So unless you can get like a program that can validate the firmware on the drive, is what the manufacturer says it should be, um, you know, I'd get real suspicious. They've had, supply chain attacks on HD TVs, like certain, cameras that were on like the built-in ones for like conference room. People could turn them on and off, or some people could turn them on, like if you had one plugged into like certain TV models. So, like, my friend loves eBay, but I'm not gonna chance. It's like I don't know. I really don't know. But like this one here is a little bit older, but yeah, like this used to be theoretical. It's like a theoretical, like a few years after I was taking my CISSP, but now it's like frighteningly common. You've even had servers that have been compromised, like Supermicros had, resist things that look like resistors, but they're a full-blown Chinese spy agency hacking chip kit, disguised as a resistor. So, it's, you know, pretty much have to vet even your hardware nowadays, because like they can, infect it or infect a chip and then sneak it into the factory and infect. Because AT&T was a victim of that supply chain attack with the manipulated servers. As they trying to figure, hey, if we can spy on all the U.S. servers, great. Now they're just going after the mooks on TikTok. Um, OWASP, they have lots of nice web applications that are deliberately broken as hell. The what not to do examples and stuff like that for like people learning pen testing and or seeing broken applications as a way of learning from what not to do, or if they have them as a capture the flag thing, then you fix them. If you're the programmer, then you fix them up so they aren't broken. Antivirus, most of them reuse signatures, as we know. Like there's newer antivirus tools like Malwarebytes and or Cylance that also can use advanced heuristics for abnormal behavior. Bad news is it can require a few extra false positives, but it can get a few useful programs. But it's better to get a few slightly unwanted false positives that you can scan with a secondary scanner and then not have it detect something. Web applications and attacks. Like with WordPress, everybody loves WordPress because it's easy, but the site administrator better keep it up to date. Also, people like the plugins and stuff that it can run. People can supply chain you with stuff that tries to steal people's usernames and passwords. In some cases, or like inject JavaScript into your application so it basically sniffs on everybody's passwords. XML, probably familiar with that. Similar to HTML and other web applications. SOA, service-oriented architectures. Services are provided to other components by applications, components, and used to communicate over protocol and network, like SOAP and other database security, etc. Database security, poly instantiation, like alternative facts. You can have real information in a database, like encrypted, that's available to staff with that, and you can have lorem ipsum, or any book of your choice, uh, as the rickroll to people, like, hey, we stole your database. No, you didn't. They open it and then they basically get, the unencrypted data is basically Paradise Lost or some other book that's in the public domain as a rickroll. Basically, yeah, here you go. Here's some lorem ipsum. Here's some, you know, Uncle, Huckleberry Finn or whatever.